Hello, Visalia Unified Community. It is important to be transparent and clearly communicate with you in all areas, especially with our data. Over the next 4 weeks, we will release videos like this one, explaining our student achievement data. And we will also talk about what this means for you and your students and how you can support their learning. Additionally, we will fill you in on some steps that we are taking to address our scores. Unlike 2 years ago when our students took a shortened version of the English and Math state tests, this past year it was the full version, and our scores remained mostly level, with slight improvements in some areas and slight declines in others. And while we are pleased with some results, we are not satisfied overall, because we know our students are capable of much more. That is why our teachers and site leaders have been working collaboratively in learning teams known as professional learning communities to review student work and make teaching changes in real time based on what each student needs. And we did have some school grade levels which were shining stars in both ELA and Math. Kudos to these teams for working together to make each other stronger and positively affect their students' academic success. Our 2 directors in teaching and learning will go deeper on the scores. Thank you again for taking time to watch this video. We invite you to join us and ask your students 3 questions that we ask every time we visit classrooms. What are you learning? Why are you learning it? And how will you know you learned it? Together, we will create the conditions to improve student learning, and I am confident that VUSD will become a model in the Central Valley for student achievement.
Hello, Visalia Unified Community. Last spring, our students in grades 3rd through 8th and 11th grade took the State English Language Arts and Mathematics test, also known as the CASP. The purpose of these 2 tests is to measure a student's mastery of their grade level standards. For example, in English Language Arts, students must demonstrate mastery in 4 major areas: reading, writing, listening, and research and inquiry. Students are exposed to questions and readings that they have never seen before. The questions are not just multiple choice, but they also include listening and writing areas. When we look at the data, the test organizes students into 3 groups. Standards are not met. These are students who are far below grade level standards. Standards nearly met. These are students who are close to grade level. And standards met or exceeded. These are students who have demonstrated that they are at or above grade level. This is where we want all the students to be. By looking at the table on the screen, we can see that in ELA for grades 3rd through 8th and 11, we did not have significant change from the previous year. When we look closer at the data, students in middle and high school had a more difficult time with the tests. We know that this starts early in making sure that students know how to read, write, listen, and speak so they can create a strong foundation for the middle and high school years. What can you do as a parent to help your student be prepared and ready for this year's ELA state test in the spring? Read with your students and have them do the following. Retell what they read to others in your family. Have them write a short paragraph about what they read and what it means to them. Have them write their own stories. For students in grades kinder through 8th grade, have them use online tools like iReady, MyPath, and paper tutoring. For students in 7th to 12th grade, encourage them to practice writing and submit their writing for feedback on the free paper tutoring. The more you build a love for reading and writing at home, the greater chance you expose your student to new worlds, new vocabulary, and sharpening new skills. What we are committing to do this year to prepare your students in English Language Arts includes the following. A focus on phonics in grades K through 2nd. Phonics instruction teaches the relationships between the letters in written language and the sounds of spoken language. This is important for students to learn how to read by 3rd grade. Having all teachers who teach English Language Arts in grades TK through 12 work together in the professional learning communities to do the following. Look at student work. Identify strengths and weaknesses in student learning. Identify the strategies they will use to work on their weaknesses, and making sure all of our teachers understand how to use books and tools they have to teach your students through our balanced models of instruction.
The mathematics test measures students in grades 3 through 8 and 11 in 3 areas: concepts and procedures, problem solving and modeling with data analysis, and communicating reasoning. When we look at this past year's students' results, we see that we had a slight improvement of over 1.5%. We know that we had some great gains as high as 4% in grades 4 through 6. So one of our areas of focus is to learn from these grade levels and schools what they did well so that we can spread that throughout the entire district, including grades above and below. What can you do as a parent to help your student be prepared and ready for this year's math state test in the spring? Find opportunities at home for your student to practice their math skills. For example, baking and cooking are great ways for students to learn about fractions. We know that fractions are a key element to students being successful in high school math. For students in grades K through 8, have them use online tools like iReady MyPath. For students in grades 4 through 12 who are struggling at home with math work, they can use our free online tutoring service, Paper. The tutors will help them solve the problem, not just give them the problem. Just like in English language arts, a love for math can be built at home when students see how they will use it in their everyday lives. What are we committing to this year to prepare your students in mathematics includes the following. Having all teachers who teach mathematics in grades TK through 12 work together in their professional learning communities to do the following. Look at student work. Identify strengths and weaknesses in student learning. Identify the strategies they will use to work on their weaknesses. A focus on Math 1 in high school and middle school is based on a solid K-8 math foundation so that our students will graduate college and career ready. Making sure all of our teachers understand how to use the books and tools they have to teach your students through our balanced models of instructions. Again, we urge you to partner with us on your students' learning. Look at their state test scores from last year. You can find them on PowerSchool or email your school. Review it with them and set goals for this year so they know how important it is. Thank you for trusting us with educating your children, our students. I believe in, I belong in, I am VUSD.